Hi, I'm John Giesick, and welcome to the C-Suite Sherpa podcast, where we shine a spotlight on business experts and resources that you should know. I'm excited to have Alexis Haselberger with us today. She's the owner and founder of Alexis Haselberger Coaching and Consulting, and they specialize in time management, productivity, and stress reduction coaching. Alexis, welcome to the podcast. I appreciate you taking time with us. Tell us a little bit about your business and the clients you serve.
All right. Thanks, John. Thanks for having me on. Well, as you said, I do time management, productivity, and stress reduction coaching and consulting. And so I work with individuals and I work with businesses to help them to do more and stress less. And so we really focus on tactical, practical things. We approach every individual and every business as a unique, bespoke entity. We don't assume that what works for one person or one business is going to work for you and your business, but we really come with that kind of holistic view in mind to be able to really meet people where they are, because I believe really strongly that when we build strategies that work for who you are or who your business is, that is going to go a lot farther and be a lot more sustainable than trying to say, hey, this worked for this person over here, it'll work for you too.
Yeah, that's great. I really appreciate a customized approach because it takes time for you to get in there and really learn about what they're looking for and how they roll and their vibe and their culture and stuff like that. All that plays in to your
Yeah.
coaching, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So what sets you and your business or your approach apart from everybody else in your field, Alexis?
Well, I think there's a couple of things, right? So, one I just talked about, which is that we are not coming in saying, like, hey, this is the one way that to do things. And if you don't do it this way, then it's not going to work. We really take an iterative approach. So, if I'm working within a human, right? If I'm working with a CEO or somebody in leadership on their own personal skills regarding time management, productivity, et cetera, we're starting from a position of let's learn about you. Know yourself first so that we can then say, oh, because we know this about you, I think this strategy is likelier to work. So let's try that first. We also take a really iterative approach. So we're not saying, hey, we're going to know exactly what's going to work coming in. We're going to say, hey, let's try this. And then we're going to say, hey, how well did that work? Did that work really well? Great. Let's double down on it. Did that not work as well as we had intended? Oh, great. What can we change? What can we tweak so that we can get to strategies that are sustainable in the long term? And this is for individuals and for businesses, because a lot of times what happens is people they're like, I'm just going to do this, right? And then that thing, maybe it works actually for some period of time, but then their business grows or they grow as a person or whatever that is. And that stuff doesn't work anymore. And my goal with my company is to equip people with the tools so that one, they learn a bunch of skills that work for them, but two, when things change, which they will, right? We don't live in a static world. They have a toolbox full of tools and they can say, I know what tool to pull out now so that I can do this. Or, oh, that was working for me before. I probably need to go back to it because we're seeking long-term sustainability in these habits, not just a quick fix, because that's not real. Like,
Yeah, right. Yeah, because everybody's already tried that before they called you.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, everyone's tried that. And also, we can all make ourselves do something for some short amount of time, right? Like, I think we've all had that experience of like, we get really into some technique, some whatever, and then like 2 weeks later, we've lost steam, it's not working anymore, and we've given up, right?
How did you know that about me? Anyway, that's kind of person that's kind of personal. Thanks for sharing my story, Alexis. So, when your phone rings, Alexis, and
Yeah.
somebody's calling you, what's the problem specifically that they're calling you up to fix? What are they saying on the phone?
So the biggest problem, if we're talking about individuals, right? I work with a lot of people. I call people who have gotten a lot of success through brute force, right? Most people that I work with are pretty successful, and other people would look at them and think, oh, wow, they've got it all, right? They've got their big job, they're a founder, they're a leader, they've rised up the ranks, they've got a family, they've got all this stuff. But on the inside, they're crumbling, right? On the inside, it feels like one gust of wind is going to blow the whole deck of cards down. And so they're really wondering, how can I maintain the success I've achieved without so much stress, right? How can I keep what I have, but also devote time to myself and my family and my health and my hobbies and the other things that I care about? Or from a business perspective, they're thinking our business is pretty darn successful. And we are also hearing from our employees that they're on the edge of burnout, right? We might have some attrition problems. We are hearing from people that they are overworked. We're hearing that they are overwhelmed, and we're not really sure what to do about that because we still need to maintain this level of output, But we need to figure out a way for our employee base to be able to do that without so much stress or the risk of burnout and attrition.
Yeah, the time management piece that you tie in with the coaching is key because the last thing people are looking to do is to add something else to their task list when they're telling you they're overwhelmed.
Right, right, exactly. And I think that is really key because, of course, changing our habits does take time. But what I tell everybody, because it's true, is that look, from the first day we work together, right? From the first hour, you're going to come away with strategies that you can try to alleviate that stress, to save yourself time. So, yep, it is going to take like anything. You don't get success with no work, right? But the goal is that every time we're trying something and doing something, we are achieving our ability to claw back our own time with that.
Yeah, that's great. So in your industry, Alexis, what do you think is going to be the biggest hassle coming up in the next 2 to 5 years? The biggest hurdle?
Well, I mean, I know probably everybody says this, right? But AI is the thing on the table, right? And I think that, like a lot of things in life, it's kind of adapt or die. And so I think that there are a lot of people still out there who are resistant to tools that are clearly taking over. And I'm not here to say that AI is going to replace all of us, but we are going to need to learn how to use it or rather, the people who I think are going to succeed are those that are going to be able to integrate and see how technologies like AI can actually move things forward and be a boon to them in their success and be a boon to their company. I think those are the people that are gonna kind of win out here. And I think the people who are like, either the non-believers or the people who are like, I don't really need to deal with that. I think that, in a couple years are probably going to be feeling the pain of that.
Yeah. Have you been able to incorporate AI into your business somehow?
Oh my God, I use AI every single day. So, I mean, from the AI note taker I use, Granola, to just using ChatGPT as a thought partner for my business, I mean, I literally, right before I got on this call with you, I was on a sales call with an organization and I'm using an AI note taker. And I said afterwards, I said, hey, can you draft me? Like I said, I'd send this person an email. Can you draft me the email based on what our conversation was? And that took me, maybe 1/10 of the time that it would have taken me in the non-AI world.
Yeah, I got to get on board with that. I am, what do they call us, laggards, like slow to the game? There's a word for that. I'm
As
like,
slow
yeah,
adopters, right? Yeah.
yeah, slow adopters. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that. And it's more the technology scare than it is, the thing that I could actually type something in and I can have a business partner that I don't have to pay. I haven't taken advantage of all the advantages that offers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still letting fear get in the way a little bit. So, yeah, so that's on my list as well. All right, Alexis, we're going to let the viewers get to know you a little bit on the personal side. I mean, you got a great personality, bubbly, exciting. I just love your energy. So, but let's let them look behind the curtain a little bit. I'm going to do a little lightning round, just ask you a couple of quick questions, and then we'll wrap it up. So, are you up for that?
Of course.
All right, let's do it. So, Alexis, coffee or tea?
Both.
All
But
right.
I'm kind of decaf, honestly. I like both. I kind of switch off, but I am a person for whom caffeine doesn't really do much of anything. So
Look at you, all natural energy. Look at that. I love it.
that's my ADHD.
Okay. Aha, I know your
Ah, you,
secrets.
you figured it out.
What about cats or dogs, Alexis?
Neither.
Neither.
I'm not a
So,
pet person.
no pets.
No pets, and I have a great excuse because my husband's allergic. So my
Oh,
kids, like, you
perfect.
know what? It's not even on the table.
So, what's your favorite quote? Do you have like a quote printed out, hanging on a monitor, or maybe framed somewhere, or something you got from somebody that really resonated with you and made a big impact that you go back to once in a while?
Yeah, so it's not framed, but it's in my task system where I have quotes that I love. And it is a very cheesy quote, but it still remains my favorite. It is, there is no growth in the comfort zone.
That's true. I like it. What about a movie? If you ever get a chance to sit down in front of the TV, plop down on the couch, what are you watching?
Oh, well, I get a chance to do that all the time because I am not a productivity bro who's like, do all the things more, better, faster. I'm a, hey, let's use your time in a way that feels good to you kind of a person. So what I've been watching recently is a British show called The Great Pottery Throwdown. I am a ceramicist and a potter in my spare time, and so I love this show. It's like the Great British Bake Off, but for pottery.
No kidding. That's awesome. So you found a show that actually aligns with your hobby. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Tell us about a book you're currently reading now, or if you had to recommend a book to somebody, what would be the one book you'd recommend?
All right. Well, I do read a lot, usually, I don't know, 50 to 75 books a year. So I just finished one this weekend that I really loved and that I have been recommending to all of my businessy friends. And it is called Creative Acts for Curious People. And it's by the executive director of Stanford's D School, so the design school. And it's really, really fascinating. It has a lot for any CEO, any C-suite person who is listening right now. It's got a ton of great ideas for how to incorporate innovation, play, and trust in a way that's like actually fun for people. Lots of great, it's kind of like a handbook that you just can open up and be like, oh, there's activity 75. Let's try that one. And I thought they were all fantastic.
Oh, that's phenomenal. That's a great resource. Yeah, they'll appreciate that. So let's hit your bucket list a little bit. Share with us something that you've was on your list that you've already accomplished, and then share with us something that's still on the list, but you know you're going to nail it.
Yeah. Okay. So I had on my bucket list for a long time that I wanted to live abroad for. I mean, I did that a little bit when I was in high school, but with my family, I wanted to take my kids abroad. And during the pandemic, we had the opportunity to do that. So I lived for about a year with my kids and my husband in South Korea and in Taiwan. And that was absolutely amazing. And then something I still got on there is I recently took my group coaching program called Time Well Spent from a cohort based to an evergreen program so that people can enroll anytime. They can come when they need it instead of waiting for me to have the next cohort. And so that is the thing that I'm growing right now. And I know that's going to be amazing just because people get such great results from it. And so many people are referring each other to it.
That's fantastic. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. What about on your success journey? If you'd be willing, share with us one of the biggest obstacles that you had to overcome to get the success that you have now, and maybe the lesson that you learned from it.
Yeah. So I think the biggest obstacle for me came right at the beginning. So even though I had worked in startups all of my life, my adult life, I had done so behind the scenes. I was like an operations, HR, chief of staff kind of person. And I think when I started my business, the really big hurdle is, look, if nobody knows about your business, nobody's going to hire you, right? Like you have to actually get out there somehow. And it took a while for me to learn how to talk about myself and my business without feeling like salesy, smarmy, like in a way that was authentic to me. And so one of the things that I did as I very beginning, like first 6 months of my business, I did two things. I challenged myself I compiled a list of every email I had ever emailed. So it was from every job I'd had. I emailed people I hadn't heard from high school. I emailed the insurance agent of the job I had 3 jobs ago. Every email I had, I emailed a bespoke email to that person to tell them what I was doing, what I was up to, and who my ideal clients were. And then I did another thing where I went to a giant conference of like 18,000 people. I brought a stack of 400 business cards and I was like, I am going to talk to 400 people over this conference and I'm going to give out 400 business cards. I got really good just through practice at learning how to talk about myself and my business in a way that really connected with people, in a way that felt authentic to me. And that's how I got all of my first clients.
Well, that is amazing that you did that when the start. And just for clarity, how long ago did you start?
In 2018, beginning of 2018. Yeah.
2018. Oh, that's phenomenal. Congratulations on that. My
Yeah.
heart's beating really fast just from you describing that.
Awesome.
So, Alexis, people are going to watch this. They're going to want to reach out to you and contact you. What's the best way for them to find you?
So there are a couple ways. One way is just through my website. It's alexishaselberger.com, which do check the show notes because you might not be able to spell it, but I'm the only Alexis Haselberger out there that I know of. On my website, you can do a couple of things. One, you could just sign up for a consultation with me if you want to talk about how we can work together. There's also a couple of freebies for you there. So I have a free training about how to always have 3 secrets for always having enough time for yourself, your family, and your work. I also have, if you're like, I just need a quick fix, I got a distraction action plan that will help you to claw back hours a day just in distractions because science and studies show us that we spend about a third of the day just recovering from distractions. Imagine how much we could do if we had those 2.5 hours back. And then, of course, I have a podcast too. It's called the Do More Stress Less podcast. And that's a great low effort way to hear from me. And they're really short. Every one of them is less than 15 minutes. And so you get a great dose of that weekly.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Alexis. I'm sure people are going to reach out, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you again soon.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for having me on.